and welcome to MeowMix, a Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we are here to talk preseason week 1. A very forgettable performance by the Panthers, but we learned a few things. Mainly, Panthers fandom will get really worked up over a meaningless preseason game.
I was going to ask, do I need to be overreaction Jerry or level-headed, person who sees the long game person today? Which one should we go with? Because I can see both sides.
I think the hot take off of 11 snaps from the starting offense is a little ridiculous at this point. So I'm going to go level-headed myself. Jerry, it's up to you as to whether you want to be overreaction, Jerry.
Honestly, after I watched the game, I was more level-headed, so we'll stick with that.
Okay.
But we'll throw in some overreactions right now.
Sure,
of course. I'm going to throw one out. Oh my God, the world is ending. Our O-line sucks again. We suck again. Okay, that's
it. Again, 11 snaps from the starting O-line. We don't have our starting right guard right now. It's just going to take a little time. It's just going to take a little time.
And James Campen, after this game, he pulled the O-line into a private meeting. And as a big fan of Campy, I expect a better result next week from that.
I mean, look, we know for a fact that this O-line is better than what they showed yesterday. Because we saw it last year. And we got the same O-line coach. So this O-line is going to be okay. They're not ready yet.
They're not ready yet.
They will get there.
They still have some bad players, especially at depth. I mean, unfortunately, O-line in the NFL is not great. And I mean, look, Michael Jordan got his lunch taken by him by the Jets yesterday. The Cam Irving experiment, he looked awful. Last year, he looked decent in substitute duty, but yesterday he looked awful. The Jets are also a premier defensive team. With that being said, I was impressed with Bryce Young. He didn't really make any mistakes, in my opinion. I saw him overthrow a ball. Yes, that's a mistake, but I mean...
But he was under pressure
He was under pressure. He put the ball so his guy could get it, or it was overthrown. I mean, great. Okay, that's an easy problem.
Yeah. That's what I like to see.
Miscommunication. That was his 2 incompletions, and he was being harassed in that backfield.
Yeah, and he popped up after every hit with no visible sign of duress or anything like that. And I would just kind of cap off the O-line talk, because we're not going to spend a ton of time on it, by saying this was the most vanilla offense that you will ever see. There were no play actions. There were no... all the screen passes, like all the things that you can do to mitigate some of that pressure, to make the defense think before they just pin their ears back and rush the quarterback. None of that was happening.
No.
We weren't doing any of that. So this is not indicative of what a real game would look like.
Correct. And I have a feeling that the Panthers team is going to be a lot more run heavy than it was today. I think this was just to get the Panthers out, or Bryce out there, throw him a couple passes, and kind of get his feet wet.
Yeah, and if I was going to be overreaction, Steven, for a minute, I would say that outside of hopefully Miles Sanders, our running backs are terrible. Because Chuba Hubbard looked like he was running in mud. Blackshear got 1 carry, I think. He didn't even get an opportunity to do much.
The one person out of the running backs that looked decent was Spencer Brown. And he came
and he got the most action.
Yeah, and he came in like the 3rd running back. So
yeah. But he also was playing against 3rd and 4th stringers.
You're right.
So it's a little different there. But even he, and I actually thought that he looked more agile and faster than he has looked in years past with us.
Yeah.
So I was, mildly impressed by him. But, obviously Sanders didn't play. Again, the offense is as vanilla as it could be. So I don't even know how you can evaluate the offense properly by what they put out there yesterday.
I don't either, to be honest with you. I mean, besides a couple players who looked really bad, I mean,
Yeah.
it's so hard to call it like that.
Yeah.
That being said, I didn't see like many of the receivers get open for Bryce Young on his 6 pass attempts. Like, he completed 4, but those were mostly checkdowns because the other guys weren't getting open downfield.
Yeah, and again, what sort of routes were they running? Like, were they, these guys know that they're out there for a handful of snaps at best. Like our receivers, and I have the snap list or the snap list here somewhere. Well, I don't know where it was, but like Mingo played like 8 snaps. I think Thielen was out there for 5 or 6. Shark was out there for 5 or 6. So the starting receivers were barely out there at all, even when Bryce played 11. Like Bryce was out there twice as long as his number 1 wide receiver was out there. So they just didn't get a lot of opportunities. And again, they weren't running any sort of route that would, do anything special. So I just don't see how you can look into that. Not you specifically, but I don't see how anyone can see what we saw yesterday from the starting offense and get too worked up about it.
I know. I think a lot of the fans' overreaction is because this offense has been abysmal for the past 3-4 years. Yeah. And with Frank Reich coming in, getting Bryce Young, a whole new offense, their first time out, they laid an egg. Literally, they got blown out, 27-0. I mean,
yep.
So I think fans were expecting more, splash right now, but I'm not writing it off. Bryce has looked good. This was a no game plan type of situation. Supposedly they won the practice that they played against each other. And that's when they do a lot more, to be honest with you. So I'm fine. I am worried about that O-line because O-line is still an issue. There's some twists and stunts that the Jets played against the Panthers, and they kept getting them with it.
And again, I don't know that the Panthers were prepared for, non-vanilla defensive play from the Jets. Like it seemed like we just weren't prepared. And again, they're not game planning really for preseason games. I just think you have to take it with a grain of salt because I found the snap counts. So the starting offensive line played 11 snaps, including with Bryce Young. So when Bryce was out there, that was the starting offensive line out there. By the way, minus Corbett. And I think they were trying some things at right guard as well. So they had rotated in, I think Michael Jordan at one point and
and he got blown
a couple
up.
other guys. So so Deontay Brown maybe, but Cade Mays. So they're still trying to figure that out, right guard with Corbett. Who knows? Hopefully ready by the beginning of the season, but maybe not.
If not, hopefully Savala comes out because he just started practicing.
Yeah. DJ Shark played 5 snaps. So he was out after that first series, basically. Adam Thielen played 8. Jonathan Mingo played 8. Let's see, Hayden Hurst 11. So we just didn't get a very good look. Even Terrace Marshall only played 12. We just didn't get a great look at what this offense is going to be. So, and we're starting with the offense here because they, did the least, and that's what everyone's wants to hear about with Bryce Young and everything like that. But I agree with you. I think Bryce Young, to me, I didn't see anything that made me feel any differently about Bryce Young other than maybe slightly better because he did get hit a few times and he got hit hard a couple of times.
And he popped
right up.
And he made throws while he was in duress. Yes, they were checked down, but we've seen quarterbacks in our recent history airball those or throw it directly to a defender. I'm looking at you, Sam Darnold. God, I could still remember that interception that I was at a game. Like, he threw it directly to the linebacker. Anyway, sorry. That would hurt my feelings when I saw it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he made the plays that were given to him. He wasn't playing out of his abilities, out of... I'm not trying to trash anybody else, but I felt like when I watched... from Texans, Stroud, because I watched Stroud snaps. Stroud was trying to do too much, and he looked awful because of that. Granted, he didn't play much, but he looked awful, and the O-line wasn't protecting him as well. Well, Bryce showed poise, making the plays that he could with an O-line that was not giving him much protection.
Yeah. I mean, just kind of wrapping up the offense here. Matt Corral, I guess he looked better than he looked last year because we didn't get to see him much last year, but it doesn't feel like he has certainly a future with this team. And I don't know what his NFL future is because he didn't look good.
No, I mean, his stats look better than he actually played, in my opinion. 15 out of 22, 126 yards and 1 interception. But again, it just, I don't know where those yards came from because it didn't feel like we ever mustered anything together.
Yeah. And the same caveat can go for him is that he's playing with third, fourth stringers mostly. He's playing with a very vanilla offense. So, but he completed some passes, got his feet wet. Probably the first real long action that he's had in an NFL game. So we'll see what he looks like next week and week 3. But I don't know, anybody on the offense that kind of stood out to you that you can remember?
Like I said, Spencer Brown was the only one that I saw that said, "Hey."
Yeah.
Other than that,
Derek Wright made a few catches, but I think he got hurt. So, not much there. I don't know. Well, you want to move on to the defense?
Oh, the defense. Yes, let's go ahead and look at that side of the ball here. Defense gave up 27 points, 3 points in the first quarter when the starters were really playing, then 10 when second string kind of came in. So, how do I feel? Nervous. Because in the back of my head, every time I thought about us switching to a 3-4, it was the run game. I remember when we did this before, we switched from the 4-3 to the 3-4, our run defense suffered. And that's exactly how the Jets moved the ball.
Yeah.
Running the ball. I mean,
straight up the middle.
Straight up the middle. And that's how they do it. Average 3.8 yards per carry, not that much, but I mean, 37 rushes for 141. They just ran the ball down our throats.
Yeah.
Michael Carter averaged 4.8 on his limited time as he's the starter. I mean,
I don't know. Is Breece Hall going to be back? I don't know, if he's going to be back in time for the start of the season or not. But I mean, he'll be the starter when he comes back. But yeah, I mean, they had a very obvious game plan against us. They were just going to pound it down our throats, and they did. 141 rushing yards for them on 37 carries, only 3.8 yard average. But again, their majority of those snaps are from guys that probably won't be in the league.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks.
Israel Abankanda. I mean, he might be a third stringer. I'm not 100% sure on their depth chart as I know Knight got a lot of early snaps too, so.
But again, Derek Brown played 13 snaps. Horn and Jackson 13 snaps. Shaq Thompson 13 snaps. The majority of the starting offense or defense played less than 20 snaps. Burns and Houston didn't play at all, and they weren't, blitzing. They weren't doing anything crazy. So take it for what it is. I will say that I thought Dante Jackson looked good, chasing down the fastest receiver on the Jets and knocking a ball away. I was encouraged by that, just to see the way that he was able to turn. It seems like there's no ill effects from that injury that he suffered last year. So that was good to see. Obviously, J.C. Horn came out of the game healthy. That's encouraging to see. Like every game, that's going to be something I feel like we should mention. I don't even know how if he got targeted. I didn't see.
I don't see targets either. I mean, I was hoping PFF would come out with our stats before this. We were forced to record because.
Yeah.
But I thought Keith Taylor looked pretty good. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to say he didn't because I saw him make the plays that were brought to him. Camu, I can't say his last name, or Gruger Hill. Dude, I mean, again,
it's Grugier. They said it yesterday. Yeah, they said it yesterday on the broadcast. It is Grugier.
Grugier Hill. I think he's been a surprise factor in the training camp, and he looked it that way. Same with Deion Jones, or Kobe Jones. Sorry,
Kobe Jones. Yeah.
Do we have a Deion Jones too, or am I just making that up?
We do have a Deion Jones. I think we have a Deion Jones.
Maybe I'm getting those two mixed up. But the linebacker was very fast, and I thought he looked pretty good. So
yeah, we have Deion Jones, Panthers. I don't know. I don't guess he played yesterday.
Okay, so Kobe Jones is the one I'm thinking about, the linebacker.
Yeah.
But yeah, Camus and Kobe Jones both look good. Amari Barno, he still has that ability to be a bullet. I would be shocked, even though he's further down on this depth chart, if he doesn't make the roster just because of that ability, man. On special
he beat a double team. Beat a double team and got a sack, the only sack for the Panthers, and looked strong doing it. He was definitely going to be a guy that I wanted to mention that flashed.
Yeah. Again, every time I've seen this guy actually play, he does something special. I don't know why. Maybe he's just a gamer and not a practicer. I don't know.
He only played 22 snaps too, so they didn't, or defensive snaps at least. He played 9 special team snaps, but yeah, Sam Franklin, give him a shout out as well.
Oh yeah,
special teams ace, also got an interception, so nice job by him.
Eric Rowe seemed to be finding that ball. I mean, again, second stringer, but I have a feeling he's going to be playing key snaps.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I felt pretty good about the defense. Yeah, they gave up 27 points, but again, 14 of those were in the fourth quarter. Only 3 with the starting defense out there. So not a bad performance. Not as bad a performance by the defense as the offense. We'll just say that.
And I also think that the 27-0 kind of makes it look a lot worse than it actually was.
Right.
They do need to work on that run defense. If teams figure out that they can do that, they will just run it down our throats constantly. So Evero has a job to do in that aspect.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I thought was a little discouraging was the third down offense and defense, really. Because the Jets were 7 for 15 on third downs. Panthers 3 for 11.
Yeah.
And again, it's preseason, so I'm not going to get too upset, but this is what we've seen from the Panthers for the last 5 years. So that is kind of discouraging, and I'm really hoping that is not reflective of what we're going to see in the regular season. But that was kind of sad. I mean, just kind of looking at a few more of the stats here. The Jets had the ball for 36 minutes. Panthers only 24. 2 turnovers for the Panthers, 1 for the Jets. Panthers didn't even make it into the red zone, which is discouraging. The Jets got in there 4 times, scored on 3 of them. Go ahead.
We had 2 turnovers, both by Matt Corral. Again, his numbers didn't look that bad, but again, he played bad.
Yeah, he didn't look good. He didn't look like an NFL quarterback. On the Jets side, again, I wasn't really watching for them, but I thought Zach Wilson looked fine. I think he's got a career as a backup quarterback in the NFL, maybe fringe spot starter here and there. I didn't see too much else from them that was super impressive. They had 5 sacks, but again, that's
their defense is going to be a stalwart.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. They're going to be a top 10 defense, most likely.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, they were constantly harassing whoever the quarterback was for the Panthers.
Yeah, that's something that certainly week 2 preseason, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that we do come out with something else. Like let's show something.
Yeah.
Let's practice something. Like let's do a little something more than just come out there and go through the motions and get beat 27-0.
Yes. Let's sustain some drives. I
Yeah.
don't want to say game plan, but let's try to do something that kind of okay, we could do this.
Yeah,
Right
let
now,
me see. Let's try to score. Just
yeah,
try to score something. There were a couple of times they could have probably kicked field goals that Frank Reich said that, he just wanted to see if we could execute on fourth down.
and we couldn't.
And that's fine. That's what preseason is for, right? That's what preseason is for, is you just go out there. But even then, he was like, those fourth downs, we kind of just ran the ball up the middle, or we did a little pass and it didn't work out sometimes. So they're just not trying to win these games, which is fine. It's preseason. Your main concern with preseason is make sure you get through preseason healthy. And outside of a couple of guys, third, fourth stringers, it seems like the Panthers did. So
yeah. All right, let's move on to our stock up, stock down type of scenario, because we're not going to give out awards for player of the game or anything like that.
Yeah.
So stock up. I've mentioned him a couple times on offense. I'm gonna go Spencer Brown because he showed me more this week than I have seen from him before.
Sure. He might be the only one
On offense.
I would, yeah, I would maybe just say slightly to Bryce Young just for getting hit and popping up and maybe alleviating some concern that people may have had. It was really never a concern for me because he got hit in college.
Yeah.
He played in the SEC and he was fine. So I know the NFL is a very different thing than the SEC, but it's the closest thing to the NFL that college football has. And he was fine. And they hit just as hard. So yeah, he got hit, popped up. So I just can't think of any other offensive players that I could give.
Offensive is just
yeah.
That's it.
Defense, let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and go with I'm gonna say Dante Jackson. I feel like a little bit of a stock up for Dante because again, he got some reps out there. He had a good play on the ball. He looked fast. He made a good decision without pass interference. So he's gonna be my first stock up.
I'm gonna go Amari Barno mostly because he's so buried on that depth chart. I was worried for him to not make this roster, and I think in his short snaps, he always seems to come away with a big play. And I feel like showing this to the new coaching staff probably gave him a stock up.
Yeah, I would agree. For sure, he was on my list. I'm gonna go Sam Franklin. I don't think that he was in any danger of getting, missing the roster or anything like that. But showing that what he can do on defense as well as special teams, just maybe he was already had a high stock, maybe just slightly higher.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Any last stock ups?
Like Kobe Jones, we talked about Grugier Hill. I feel like they just kind of showed more of what we have seen in practice from them. So maybe not stock way up, but showing it in a game. Fans that haven't been following so much got to see some of that. So perception wise, maybe stock up for them a little bit too.
Yeah, that's good. Call up.
Yeah. All right, stock down. Start with the offense. I'll let you go first.
Michael Jordan, the guard. He got beat up on the first team and second team. That right side kind of collapsed in, and I'm not gonna fault Taylor Moton because let's be honest, the guys sit next to him were probably more the responsible party.
Yeah, I would agree. Justin McCray has had a lot of snaps in practice at guard and center, and he looked terrible. Really, the offensive line overall, you could say perception-wise, stock down just because of this, just a bad performance. I mean, again, it's preseason. We named a lot of reasons why we might have seen what we saw, but we didn't see that from the Jets. So I think you have to say a little bit of stock down for everybody on the offensive line. I'm going to go running backs as well outside of Spencer Brown. Chuba, I thought, didn't look good at all.
No.
Blackshear didn't get an opportunity, so I'm going to kind of hold him out of this. But, I'm just going to say Chuba. I mean, Chuba's a Matt Rule guy, and I think he needed to show a little more than what he showed today.
Yeah. We talked about third down, 3 of 11. Yeah. I mean, Chuba wasn't getting yards on his first couple carries, so that put Bryce in, third and long quite often.
Yep, agreed. Really, I mean, the whole offense stocked mostly, except for the couple of guys that we've called out specifically. Just maybe. Do you want to say, Thomas Brown, offensive coordinator, a little bit of stock down?
Yeah.
Frank Reich, a little bit of stock down for not having these guys prepared at all to play in an NFL game, regardless of if it's preseason. I mean, I would go with that as well.
Sounds good. I like that. Because honestly, this offensive performance was pathetic. Again, it's preseason. So, but it worries fans, especially when the offense has been the problem for so many years here.
Sure. You're looking for some spark of hope, and this is the first time that we've got to see them in this type of situation, a game situation. They look terrible. So I don't blame anybody for getting upset about it. I would just caution you to understand it is preseason, and it's a glorified practice. They're not game planning. They're not doing anything that they would normally do in a regular season game. So defense, any stock down for you on defense?
I would go a little Evero just because that run defense really needs to shore up. I mean, honestly, out of everyone, I didn't see anybody flash that really had a bad game. Jamie Robinson, I was expecting a little bit more from, but he didn't attack the runner as much as he should have. But I guess maybe my stock for him was kind of not down, but not high anyways.
Yeah, I didn't hear a lot of Brandon Smith at all.
He made a special teams tackle. So. I think that was it that I saw.
That's good. That's good. Maybe like nose tackle. I mean, McCall, Williams didn't really look great out there. I mean, McCall had 18 snaps, so he played 25% of the game. So again, hard to evaluate really the starters. They didn't play much at all, but Yetur didn't see much from him. He was out there quite a bit, 38% of the snaps. So I don't know, man. Yetur, got to show me more, man. I need to see more from Yetur.
Yeah, especially because they were running the ball and I didn't hear his name, and that's what he's going to be used for.
Yeah. All right. So that was stock up, stock down. Any other kind of final thoughts here about the game, or what we hope to see in the future, what we didn't see that we hope to see today?
I think the big thing for us as Panther fans is we want to see an offense that actually can move the ball. Yeah. I don't think many fans are down on Bryce Young because, again, what we saw wasn't his fault. It was him making chicken salad out of Swiss cheese O-line.
Yeah, and again, he didn't go downfield at all. I think he operated within the game plan, and he did what the coaches wanted him to do. He showed what the coaches wanted to see. But we can't fault him for that.
No,
right?
And again, I don't think what he did was bad at all. Like he wasn't throwing into bad coverage. He wasn't making stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see bad throws from him. Like even the one that looked kind of bad, it was thrown in a place that it was not going to get intercepted.
His guy could have came down with it, or out of bounds, and he was under duress. So
I didn't see any movement from him in terms of scrambling or really trying to get out of the pocket at all. So that I was kind of hoping to see, because he did show a lot of that in Alabama. Is there a ghost in there?
Yeah, I think a ghost is trying to break in.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Overall, let's just say a forgettable game from the Panthers. Let's hope that they come out next week and look a lot better.
Agreed. I mean, we will be back probably like a Wednesday because the game's on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is on Friday, isn't it?
Yeah. So we'll have a quick turnaround on this one.
We New York Giants get both New York teams in the preseason.
We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. Oh, God, we got an email about the game, too, and I forgot to read it.
Yeah, well, it was kind of pertinent, too.
Yeah.
Because it was... Let's save it. Let's save it for... We'll start next episode with it.
Okay,
It was from Luke, I think, right?
No, we have one from Elizabeth.
Oh. Okay, well, we got 2 emails then.
Oh, yeah, we did get 2 emails. All right, so we'll be starting off the next episode with those, Elizabeth and Luke. So, we'll be back.
Thanks, guys, and we will definitely read those at the first part of the next week's show. So, this week we just wanted to talk about the game and kind of let you guys know it's not the sky's not falling.
No, this is
gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. All right. Well, until next time, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.